Okay, there is just one more. There is just one more. Now they're ready for decanting. Put the larger one into the smaller one. They're there for a reason. We'll come back to that in a moment. Right. Why do I say that? Now, Rural Ralph was never planned to share with anybody other than a few people I met face to face. But you can't leave off just sourness. I actually wish. Now, quite intensely the last 3 months, but prior to that, off and on for 7 years, actually more on than off. I've been trying to create bridges and alliances with, and it is mainly the women who populate the local, well, you can't call them organisations because they're fake, like Extinction Rebellion groups, local environmental groups, etc. But they're all, every single one of them, is desperately trying to make money from selling yoga, Zen. I mean, yoga's all right, but actually they say Pilates is probably better for you. And yoga does take a lot of time up, which you need the time to protect the rivers. It takes a lot of time, that, fighting authority. Anyway, mindfulness. What is mindfulness? Now, I say to people it's a shortcut thing, but it's true. I've lived in the Carlton Hotel camp. In fact, more than that. From the late 80s, I was the driver, airborne camper van, in other words, professional pilot, for the London's main first super swish corporate. But it wasn't actually corporate. Well, it was corporate hospitality, but well, I can't even remember what it was called. I was on the front of the brochure. Rich people going off in private aircraft to relais et chateaux destinations throughout Europe, started by the biggest creep in the universe, even his own wife, poor Cathy, would say so, Christopher Foyle, chairman of Foyle Books, recently died. God, what a charlatan. Anyway, for years I would stay sometimes at these fancy destinations. I would always try and stay at the local cheap hotel, waiting for the rich creeps. And they were. It was all for show. Oh, I know what corporate hospitality is. It's a con. It's rich people putting on the corporate balance sheet that they need to do this business trip. It's a business trip. It's drinking and tarting about. And that's just the women. Anyway, I wouldn't choose. For the last 2 months, I could be staying on a big, gorgeous farm 15 miles up in the hills, in a place where I've been working for 3 months. It's paradise. But I'm not going to, because it means compromising with a completely neurotic, quite dangerous landowner woman. Compromising, I can do compromise. A dangerous person who's got no zen and who lies about their age. Yeah, this is evenhere.com. Lies about their age. She's a good deal older than the 60 years she lied saying she was. But more importantly, the family is, they pretend that they're this super special people. And yet, hidden behind a caravan, not that hidden, are crates and crates of empty gin bottles. I don't have anything to do with such people. I'll work for them as in the job needs doing. Fences like this, I've rebuilt a fence like that, needed rebuilding. Gates needed rebuilding and rehanging for the future, the benefit of future generations. God, I'm sounding like a twat. Now, I could stay there. Anybody else in my position would have taken straight away the offer of a free hotel room at a local hotel. In part, no, not exchange, free, for looking after some of the construction so badly needed. We're talking faulty towers. We really are. Nope, nope. I prefer to live here. Now, that's not mindfulness. I can put I have my fancy jacket just in case. Just in case. Sarah got me some super rich bitch. And I had to go and meet her at the station. That's all you need. But that's the centre of my life. Writing, but also recording. Now, these are so badly made. I've gone through about 10 of these in the last 7 years. They break. But mindfulness is as following. Now, I bought in for this fancy, it's not fancy hotel, a large roll of Gorilla Tape. The best tape. No. If you put it on the back of this thing breaks at the bottom. Design fault. Even Gorilla Tape, the little hinge there, comes open after a few days. No, use sellotape. Might not. You see, that's the problem. The young people think, their super trendy brands are going to be best. No. Straightforward old sellotape is what's required. The minimal things for charging, a bit of work, and that bought new 9 months ago is so crap it fails after right, why did I turn my camera off? Mindfulness. What's mindfulness? Mindfulness is as follows. Now, yes, the I don't want to call them the yoga women. Somebody I rather like did. It's not the right way of terming them. They believe that only expensive, mind you, the price is never shown on the menu, expensive wellness sorts the soul out. It's the exact opposite. And the one thing they hate more than anybody, I spent 3 or 4 years tolerating them, trying to really rev them up. After the 2014 council elections in the region, where it was said green politics was coming to the fore. So I tried to bridge and create alliances and groups. Now, anyway, after discovering after about 4 or 5 years, not one of them had any manners. Zero. None. So if you on all your expensive wellness and mindfulness retreats, surely the purpose of these things is to actually teach you to have manners and not to lie about your age and all those other things they lie about. Where you got your money from, who's paying your bills. But here's the thing, this is what they really hate when you say to them the following, which I started to say a year or two ago. Mindfulness is actually something you cannot get off a menu. You can't pay for it. And there are more Malala Yousafzai rhetoric ways of putting it that are great, and I can do it when I can be bothered. Mindfulness is as follows then. So passing through here 2 months ago, after spending a few weeks having a roam around holiday, getting involved in or founding a fabulous river project based on the work of one woman only, and crediting her entirely. No, I can't get anybody else to join her in saving the 4 rivers with a superb idea. Mindfulness is as follows. So, I know there's this little town here, 3 or 4 towns, full of just utterly lost, disastrous people. And before we get too unpleasant, no, I'm never going to get too unpleasant about women. I haven't met a woman worth being unpleasant about. But I can understand. I can understand something. But this is also what, it's a bit difficult, this one. Is it mindfulness? Right. Now, even here, and this is a small town, middle of nowhere, that shouldn't have any social problems. But there is a town, Llandrindod Wells, 20 miles away, where 30 years ago, lots of terribly distressed problems, I hate to say that, because it implies they have agency in the thing, but problem families ended up. And if you ever meet somebody who says they spent time in Llandrindod, you know, they've got a terrible history. Now, this morning, 2 such men walked past here and tried to engage with me. Now, one I've avoided engaging with for some time, but I did 3 or 4 days ago. And then another one comes up today. Now, I'm afraid to say, yes, Britain is full of these chaps, and they are a bit scary. The one that came by today was like, he was kind of, well, here's the first thing. You know, they're all 40 to 60 years old. They all look a bit gaunt. Yes, they all have had problems with drugs and alcohol in the past, although they'll almost entirely deny it. Oh, once an hour train. I thought they were meant to be on strike today. 3 carriages. Often it only has one. That's the Heart of Wales line. It's lovely. 2 stops up there. I don't want to give my location. The most perfect walk you can ever imagine. That's where I was working. Anyway, to the point. I can understand women. I mean, these guys are pretty scary, even here. And one of them, he's been currently here about 5 or 6 years, and you can just see from 100 yards. Watch out, that one is capable of anything. Now, I'm not one of them, and I'm pretty sure I'm known as not one of them. I can understand ladies, but these guys, I've seen this, nothing to do with me over the last year or 2, I've observed, they are so desperate after the pandemic. I was in Church Stretton 3 or 4 weeks ago, getting my tooth done, and I watched one of them go up to other guys who were clearly slightly wealthier and younger, and he was just trying to do this number of like, hey man! He was really trying to be their mate. But I know that he was after something from them. I can understand women that, yeah, strange men. Yeah, it's the reason to get out of Britain. There are many, even here, of these guys who you know really are forever in a bad place. Now, mindfulness. Now, dealing with them is tougher. Well, let me actually start with that one. Particularly the one, I remember his name, I'm not going to in any way identify. You can see him, he really kind of zaps around. Now, I'd avoided him, but I couldn't avoid him as of about a week ago. But I really dealt with him in a kind of slightly authoritative, look, don't assume, matey-ho, I work. You know, you're making an assumption. I'm sorry, I haven't had benefits for years and years. Now, can we talk about anything interesting? Okay, blah, blah, blah. And I've learned how to get rid of them. You don't let them leech onto you. You can't. They are in a mess. There's another one. I did actually meet him and liked him at first. I got to know him a couple of months ago. Within our first long chat, very intelligent, one of these slightly autodidact chappies, he makes a big point of, I don't drink. He really makes a point of it. 3 weeks ago, he came here with a bottle of beer in his hand at lunchtime on a Saturday. And I just have learned to get rid of him without upsetting him or making him think I think I'm above him. You can't do that. In other words, I've learnt a skill that I needed to learn by being stuck here. I came through here 2 months ago, and a part has gone. I could stay in 2 different places locally. I choose to stay here because I'm left alone. But this is real mindfulness. Now, if I'd have said to myself, if anyone had said to me, if I'd have said to myself, if I'd have had a thought 10 weeks ago, you're going to be stuck here, this location, for 2 months, I would have thought to myself, oh my God. I know this town off and on. over years of coming through here and spending the odd half a day here, having a coffee here, very occasionally an early evening half of Guinness once every year. If I'd have said to myself, if I'd have had a thought, you're gonna be stuck here a couple of months, I would have been like, no, God, I know this place. It's the last place on the planet I want to be stuck by. Well, apart from 6 weeks ago when we had our heat waves, there's a great swimming river, literally 300 yards up there, and I spent a week, 2 weeks, swimming most days, but also a month in conversation with the only superbly interesting woman I've encountered for years. Here's the real thing though. I've actually got to know, just from being here, 5 or 6 really okay women. And they walk their dogs. Well, that's what they say they're doing. I know 2 or 3 of them at least. Sussing me out. We have Jackie and Mac. She's funny. She's interesting. Trish and Alma. She's interesting too. Now I should say something, not about her, but about almost a twin of hers. You see, my life, 15, 20 years ago, famous real legal campaign. I met one of my girls, so to speak, 5 or 6 days ago, and this is the thing. We spent 2 hours talking. When I say one of my girls, I created a whole layer of people. She benefited from it. She nearly lost her children. She told me the whole story. She knew about me. We spent 2 hours talking. It's like, I told her, you're great, you're open, you're frank, and you mean it because it didn't happen to me, but it nearly happened to you, this thing I protected you women against. Let's meet up and have a drink. I need you to, I'll share properly with you. We need to morally support one another. You can morally support, or not, I don't mean support. I just want to get some good writing and film made about it. I spent 3 hours of my life on that woman. Bizarre. From Silesia, yes. I will never hear from her again. She even walked past me and saw me 2 days ago. Forget her. That's not mindfulness. Mindfulness is this. You're in the last place in the world you know. You really do know. You really, really know you don't want to spend 2 months in this place. And yet, I'm probably going to leave in about a week. And it's time to go and either get a new van or take this one to get it fixed. But that's going to take weeks because most of the blokes in places like this are alcoholics. They pretend they are. I'm actually really going to miss it. Jackie, Vanessa, Trish and Elmo. Oh, Lorna, and Ferda Dandy. Lorna, I mean, she's just absurdly. Oh, and then Diane. Oh my God. I mean, Diane. She is so sexy, it's ridiculous, but she took a while to warm, but she deliberately comes past her and her daughter. Oh, her daughter's so lovely. But, as I write to Maverick, Pornhub would swap Pornhub for Diana. She's not my kind of woman. Every day she has a new, expensive, different, colourful jacket, coat on. But, well, she's interesting. Anyway, 5 or 6 women I would never have met. I've got to know them quite well. And they come and talk with me. They will linger, particularly Trish lingers and lets Elmo come round. And Trish knows that means that her and I will have a long chat. Anyway, you know, the great tragedy though is that the one person, the one man in this world, I'd say, I have to speak quickly now because otherwise I'm going to use too much battery and film. Right. My best friend was not because of fucking religion and snobbery. Now, I say to Greg all the time, Greg, you're the only one I value because these fucking twats who are even in the government, and they can't even decide at the moment should they put a statement out whether or not people should save energy. Greg does what I do. I pair off batteries of the same age, rechargeable, such that when they're put in the recharger, they will have more or less the same life left in them. Right. Greg's the only person who does that. I tell him, Greg, you're a religious bigot and snob, which he is. He's 5 years older than me, and he, unfortunately, has got Christianity. And it's this snobbery, and Christianity is really increased in this area. Dawkins is wrong. You see, Dawkins just sits there and says, I'm an atheist, people who believe in God are twats. No, there is something, unquestionably, and we humans will never understand it. But the problem is, even around here, you have 10 different flavours of fucking Christianity, which I call the self-pitying death cultists, some of which are my friends, and I say it to my face, their faces, including Greg. But that shouldn't matter, because I say to them, page 2, give me your Bible, page 2, page 2. Oh, my red pen's in there, okay? I'll circle it, top left-hand corner. Your boss says look after his garden, right? And that is looking after his garden. And I respect Greg. I say, Greg, you're the only person I respect a bit, because in terms of environmentalism, and I know you don't care, Christians don't care, because they believe that the end times are here, so they don't have to save the planet. So they're misbehaving in terms of page 2 of their fucking wonky instruction book, which, by the way, is so fucking sexist, it should be banned. The woman's a hooker. Sorry, hooker, being a hooker, wonderful, important job, but you're disrespected for life. But he can't even listen. Greg, you're the only person I actually respect, because you pair up your batteries. I've never heard anyone say this. And yet he's so snotty because I'm not of the same religion. Anyway, yes, but the real battle. Yeah, I've gone through. I should get money for jumping in Patches and Nettles. I mean, yet another one of these broke yesterday morning. Just yesterday morning. They let me know you were gone. And this fucking co-op here. I'm captive audience. It cost me £10 to go anywhere else. $6.99 for one of these. So, you see, I keep my broken ones. Broken means if 2 more, I mean, the 2 have gone in 24 hours. So I keep my broken ones because they might just allow a transfer. I mean, I've tested them to hell that they're more or less broken. So the other the broken one, it's here. No, it's not. I'll find it. What else have we got here? Oops, nope, that's a bit embarrassing. Don't want her to know that I've spoken. Oh yes, I'm gonna threaten to sue somebody for the first time ever. Ah yes, there's a little thingy here. You see, this is my life and I like it. Right, most important thing in the back. Actually, there's 2 important things. That's actually the most important thing, but I can't say what it's for. Yep, you see, I keep all of this stuff. Not one of them will ever be named, but I keep a huge chronicle. That's the reality of the rivers. The superb project was being rolled out to 20 people, 5 of them face to face, saying, right, you should be the new middle person. You can have it on your CV. I won't be named. I'm coming out of this now. I've connected you all. You take full credit. It's a great project. I never even look back to you. So yes, I do keep a chronicle of everything. Yes. Yeah, that little thingamajig. Oh yes. It's time to write one fountain pen left. Now I'm sounding like a jerk. Yes, we've got to get rid of him. Another false friend. I wonder if she, Mrs. Private Eye, will... Right, there's something important here. Yeah, I was actually thinking of stealing that yesterday. Now you go to the ordinary shops, that'll cost £2.50. I don't steal anything, but I was thinking of stealing it as an act of performance art. Ah, there, no. Except they have, when I opened it, even that. See, there's a little metal disc inside. Does that mean it sets off the alarm? Anyway, right, I don't really like doing this. I don't do props. Why did I turn this on? Doesn't matter. It's the mindfulness thing. To be somewhere that's the last place in the world you'd ever plan to be. I've had such a lovely 2 months, and it's given me such, I don't know. I mean, it is about who comes walking by at any particular day, hour. Quite often I'll get 4 or 5 of them walking by. 2 of them have got lovely kids who I've got to know, as I did. That happened in 2020, just out of the blue. Now, I don't want to really know any of them, and I don't even want to be in this country, but nevertheless, it's actually done me good. And it's taken me to a kind of way, a new way. Having spent years being an activist, real activist, cause-doing person, that chucking the river thing or putting the river thing in my chronicle of many similar things, that's the end. That's the end. I wanted to become somebody else now. And that's, in fact, I've only just thought of it now. Getting to know these, actually, about 7 of them. No, there's about 8, including the one that came by yesterday. And we're just like, mate, we're just friends. We talk. I never go out at night, so I don't want to talk to people over a bar. But we just chat, and sometimes we have interesting chats, and sometimes they're a bit flirty, and sometimes I'm thinking, do I like this one? I don't know. Why? It's good for you. It's been tremendously good for me. And you can't tell. I do tell that to the mindfulness women who are sitting there thinking, can I launch my new great mindfulness brand on the world for money? No, you can never get it from money. And I'm not joking. I have a child, I swear on her life, I would not have, except for one person, I wouldn't have 1 second of my life for the last 6 months any different. And I mean it. It actually makes me feel good, the fact that I've been stuck in. And I will miss. In fact, I've been pondering, how can I stay here 2 or 3 more weeks? It is really such fun. Particularly little Miss, she comes by at 7:30 in the morning with her daughter, Alanis. Little Miss, me and Maverick, I give them nicknames. Pornhub would swap Pornhub for her. Really? And I didn't want to think like that, but she knows I like her. She makes a point of shouting out to me, "Hi!" And her daughter took a while. Why is there a guy usually here in his vehicle? No, she's super smart. I gave her a book list the other day for her daughter, and that was a wonderful thing. So I've got to know somebody, and it had My Family and Other Animals, Watership Down, Ring of Bright Water, Tarka the Otter, and it said Swallows and Amazons. Yes, I think so. And the James Herriot Vet books, blah, blah, and a few others. And yes, if you want to get from the 11 to 12-year-old to adult books, go for Daphne du Maurier. That's intellectuals know this. It's the best way. Right, we better turn this off because I haven't got time and energy to upload it. Right.